it's your time to shine with all things fabulous with First for Women on Afternoon Express. For insurance with a host of fabulous benefits, call 0861 11 18 44 or SMS FIRST to 49267.
Good afternoon, South Africa. Lovely to have you back. Welcome to Afternoon Express right here on SABC3. I'm Bonang Mateba.
And I'm Bonnie Mbuli.
Wow, it is a Friday. As you can see, I've got my, I'm going somewhere very important later on today kind of show. It's going to be absolutely fantastic. We've got a celebrated, over-the-top, lovely, bombastic Metro FM DJ, Tbo Touch. I'm going to be chatting to him in the loft right now. If you have any questions for him or any one of our guests, you know exactly where to find us. At Afternoon Chat on Twitter. Use our official hashtag Afternoon Express. We are on Facebook, on Instagram, and all over the interwebs, so make sure you keep in touch with us.
Yeah, our lineup is definitely jam-packed. It's about fun, fun, fun. Nothing complicated, just fun. And later on in the show, we show you some flower arrangements and some ideas that you can use for your family gathering or for your latest dinner party, whatever you wish, darling. But that's not all. Right, Jeannie?
Oh, ladies, if music be the food of love, play on. I'm standing with possibly one of my favourite, most renowned gospel and jazz singers, Judith Sephuma. What an honour to have you here in our loft today.
Oh, wow, what a pleasure to be here today.
You are fantastic. A cry, a smile and a dance. Absolutely amazing. And now, if you can't go to Italy, we bring the Italy to you. We have Vittorio from Rialto Foods, welcome, and CHRISTIAN from Beretta. Allora, welcome. I see today we are going to be making antipasti in the kitchen. What are we making?
Yeah, today we're going to be making some delicious Italian dishes using an authentic Italian delicatessen, Parma ham, prosciutto for us.
Definitely such wonderful Italian dishes in the kitchen today. And of course, you can cook with us at home by going to our website and getting all of our ingredients and recipes, afternoonexpress.co.za. But for now, let's go and see who Bonang has on the couch.
Thank you so much, Jeannie. I'm so excited to have our first guest on the couch. He's my colleague. He's a prominent South African hip-hop DJ and television presenter, famous for his afternoon drive show, The Touchdown on Metro FM. And we know his voice, we know his face as well. Being an icon for the youth of South Africa everywhere, of course, in the country and all over the world. He regularly rubs shoulders with the who's who of the entertainment industry, both locally and internationally. Joining us on the couch is your boy, Tbo Touch. I feel like I need the horn that you always have on Metro FM. Boom, 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 boom.
Okay, you did a better job than a horn. Thank you for having me.
Lovely to have you. So let's talk about that fight. I mean, you had the honor of going all the way to Los Angeles, ringside to see Mayweather and Pacquiao live. How was that experience?
Electrifying. The energy in Vegas was out of this world. And what Floyd does as an individual is what a team or a UEFA economically bring in terms of ticket grossing, the amount of tourism. It's just, but just being in that space, it's historical to see a man 48 wins, 0 loss.
You can't even imagine it. But let's start at the beginning. I mean, you brought Mayweather to South Africa.
January.
You guys became friends. But how did the relationship start, and where did you meet him?
Right? I know. It's look, I've always taken my inspiration from Bishop Noel Jones, who's my mentor, living in Los Angeles and New York. I've been privileged to know the people that goes in his church. Puffy gets his material. So some of the celebrities get a lot of mentorship and inspiration from Bishop. So I just picked the call and said, look in the list of the people he has. I'm like, hey, I want to get close to this guy, Bishop. Can you make the call? And being his son, I mean, he adopted me for 10 to 12 years. So he trusted me that I will not misuse the relationship or misuse the privilege. And we've been doing business ever since. You know, we got some nice things going on. It's the first time this is broken ever. I'm in Vegas, 17 August, to officially announce his last fight. It might happen in Johannesburg.
No ways.
50th fight next year, May.
But before we get into that fight, all right, when he signed the fight with Pacquiao and obviously with Floyd Mayweather, you were there, and you actually have the pen.
Yes, first time ever.
That signed both contracts on that night.
Can we make a disclaimer?
Yes.
This pen is not leaving the studio, so I don't have it on me. So don't come after me and look for it. It's almost like it's one of those.
Well, there it is. It is pure
gifts,
gold.
Pure gold, Feel the weight.
I remember seeing this on social media. I
Yes.
remember seeing it on, you know,
Yes.
channels all over the world. So what are you going to do with this pen? Why exactly did it come to South Africa?
Thanks for asking. I'm an ambassador of the Cape Wine Auction. We have 2015. I'm on the same board with Sir Richard Branson, Mike Ratcliffe. It's about 12 of us. Kevin Arnold, the maker of Waterford Jam. Every year we meet in different wine estates, and the pen is being auctioned. I can't mention the price.
Yeah.
But you can afford it.
Yeah, no. Wow. We'll see on auction night what will happen.
Please.
But I mean, you know, Tbo Touch, for a young man like yourself, from South Africa, born in Sharpeville, and rubbing shoulders with the likes of Miguel, with, you know, the likes of Bishop Nolan, like you said.
Bonang.
I've seen you on stages with people that I can't even imagine.
Stop.
Where did you start and how did you get into this international, you know, network of amazing, inspiring celebrities?
You know the funny thing, I went to the States because my dad being in exile, I was privileged to say, okay, one day I must end up where he went, and politically he had to be in the US. But I've always been inspired from being, you know, a young person in school. I've never wanted to be the one that reads about these icons. I wanted to be in that space. And I was clear very early in my life that I'm not going to be an engineer, I'm not going to be a doctor. I understood the significance of bridging gaps through entertainment.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, there's no faculty of entertainment in university.
True.
It's all in relationships. And I think my number one gift is the ability to make relationship with the right people.
Yeah, that's true.
So we've had, when I say we, I regard myself as third party. We've had fun with the people that we managed to bring to South Africa, Floyd being one of them. We're doing exciting things. And I thank God because your relationship is your assets.
Yeah, but you know, Touch, part of having famous friends is, of course, getting some really pretty cool gifts. So let's talk about that glove. It does belong to Floyd, right?
This glove right here,
Yes.
has been places. It's also part of the auction for the Cape Wine.
Okay.
Yes.
And that's his signature right there. When did he give you this glove?
This was straight after the Maidana fight. Last year, September.
All right.
Yes.
And this is also going to be auctioned for charity.
Indeed. And
but when you're with Floyd, what do you guys talk about?
we talk about the dealerships that he calls, the dealership that he calls. Look, he's not the kind of guy that you'll enjoy talking to unless you have the kind of money like him, because he's all about money. You know, he makes calls.
Money.
Yeah, he makes calls at 2 a.m. to buy a car. So I try my best when I'm in Vegas to stay in my hotel room, otherwise I'll be depressed.
Yeah, no, I know what you mean.
It's good to see him when he fights, and it's good to see him in the gym. But, you know.
Not around his possessions.
No,
all right.
no.
Well, Touch, I have so much to ask you. You're still going to be in the loft with us. He's not going anywhere. Stick around. Tweet us right now at Afternoon Chat and use our official hashtag Afternoon Express. After the break, we're in the kitchen where Jeannie has a couple of Italian stallions on standby. Don't move.
Welcome back to Afternoon Express, where we are now bringing you quite a special slice of Italy. And in the kitchen, we have some amazing gifts all the way from Italy. Of course, Vittorio from Rialto Foods and CHRISTIAN from Beretta. Welcome to South Africa.
Thank you very much.
And all of this is in celebration of the glorious Parma ham.
Yes, it is. Parma ham is really one of the best product that the Italian charcuterie can offer. It's an authentic product. It's made of 2 ingredients, Italian pork leg and sea salt. That's it.
Now, it's quite a delicacy, I suppose, because Parma ham is only allowed to be called Parma ham if it comes from Parma in Italy.
Yes, it must be produced entirely from a small region around Parma city, which is in north of Italy. And it's amazing. It takes minimum 12 months of slow curing of this great piece of meat, which comes from the back leg of the pork. And pork must be also 100% Italian.
It is certainly very delicious. And you are the product developer in working, in making all of this. And I mean, this is something that's been made for hundreds of years.
Yes, it started in the medieval ages, and we still do it in the same way that we used to do it in Parma, where I come from, actually.
And I love that the thinner the better, and it almost melts in your mouth when it's good quality.
Yes.
It must.
Okay, so Christian, we're going to start with you.
Yes.
What are we making?
We're making a oven-baked camembert with parma ham, a slice of parma ham in the middle, some spring onion, and we're going to cook it in the oven.
Let's do it.
Okay, let's try it. Well,
I'm not a bad kitchen hand. I mean, the irony isn't lost on me that I'm always in the kitchen because I'm such a good cook and all.
I'm basically cooking, cutting the cheese in 2 pieces, okay?
Yeah.
And then we're gonna put our slice of parma ham right in the middle, okay, like this. Just gonna put some spring onion on it, okay? And we're gonna make this kind of sandwich, okay?
Okay.
We're gonna just put it here. And then see what happens in the oven.
That is it? I just pop this in the oven?
Just pop
you
it
see,
in the oven.
that is truly amazing. How Italian food is so delicious, but the simpler, the better. Hey, that's the magic in it. So just going to pop that in the oven.
Yes.
It is very easy. And of course, you can cook with us at home by visiting afternoonexpress.co.za and obviously get all of these ingredients and our recipes. All right, Vittorio, what are we going to make here with you?
I'm making this dish, which I learned from my mom when I was quite young. It's called uccelli scappati, which means birds that flew their nest. And it's just basically chicken breast with some sage or parma ham and some grated cheese.
How do we say that again?
Uccelli scappati. It's like
Uccelli scappati. Okay,
Yes,
the birds
really
that
is.
fly the nest. That's beautiful. All right, and now what is this?
This is sage, which is an Italian herb you can find here as well.
Mm-hmm.
Some
So
parma
that's
ham.
very thinly sliced chicken breast.
Yes, you can beat it as
Sage.
well to make it even more flat.
Okay. That's actually quite fun. That's one of those kitchen hammers. You just
Exactly.
knock it. And does that really assist in the tenderness of the chicken?
It does. Yes, it's quite essential. I mean, if you have a thick slice, it won't work.
Okay. And is chicken and pork quite a good combination?
Yes, you can have especially parma ham goes well with fish as well. And a lot of pork goes very well with a lot of other meats.
Parma ham goes well with anything.
Some grated cheese. I'm using Comté, which is a French cheese, but you can use your cheddar, Gouda, or any other melting cheese, basically. I come from Parma, which is this small town up north in Italy, where we have been doing this for centuries.
So you live in Parma. Do people that live in Parma eat like this every single day?
Every day.
Really?
Yes, we do.
But you're in good shape.
we also make Parmesan cheese,
Oh, fantastic.
so
of
we
course,
eat
Parmesan.
quite well.
All right, so now what do we do with that little guy?
We're gonna start a fire and some oil.
Of course. The Italian way, load it.
We're just gonna fry it for a little bit. We make sure we turn it a couple of times so the heat cooks through the meat both sides. And when I usually touch it, and if it's hard enough, it means it's cooked.
Yeah.
We just add some cream and we finish it off for a couple of minutes and it's done. Obviously now I just did one, but we can make
We'll make a few more. Excellent. That's certainly the Italian way. Cooking and eating with your hands, it's definitely for all senses. And now, this is going to be absolutely glorious. The honor, we've just got such an honor to have the glorious Judith Sephuma in our studio, and she's on our couch right now with Bonnie.
Thank you, Jeannie. 2001 saw the release of her debut album, A Cry, A Smile, A Dance, which went platinum and won her 2 Summers for Best Female Artist and Best Jazz Vocal Album. She has since released 5 more albums and is currently touring the country to promote her latest, One Word. Joining us on the couch is legendary Afro-jazz singer Judith Sephuma. Welcome to the Loft, Judith. It's so great to have you.
Oh, wow, what a beautiful introduction. As I always feel like it's not me whenever they read something like that or they say something like that about me. Thank you so much for having me.
It's an absolute pleasure.
Yeah.
Now, you've just kicked off your album tour at the Artscape on Saturday, and I was there.
Yeah.
What an amazing show.
Thank you so much.
And because it was such an amazing show, I'm going to use it as a map for our interview because I feel like it just really just encapsulated so well your journey so far.
Yeah.
First of all, let's start off with how you looked.
Oh, my
Your
goodness.
look was very funky.
Yeah.
There was leather, there was harem pants. It's a different take on the Judith look. How did that come about?
I, when, I've had like 5 albums that you said earlier on. The question becomes, what do you do 5 albums later or 6 albums later?
Yeah.
You know, you can either keep doing the same thing that you've been doing or try and spice it up a little bit. And I've been feeling really like, I mean, I've got young kids who always tell me, Mommy, do this, and I just said, you know, let's go a bit young, you know?
Yeah.
But yet still current and relevant, not really living Judith, who this Judith Sephuma is, but enjoying everything that I am right now and that I'm discovering about life. So I went to Untitled Chapter and I said to her, listen, this is what I want. This is what I would like to see happen. And she said to me, okay, let's see what we can do. And we gave her a brief, and then she's the one dressing us for the entire tour.
It was beautiful.
Yeah, thank you.
And one word that I left your show with was eloquence. Just the eloquence of your expression in its entirety, your clothing, the way you spoke, the stories you shared, so seamless. Yeah. But I see that there's been an evolution of Judith. Please tell me about that journey.
Man, you know, traveling the world, let me say traveling has kind of like opened up my, you know, the way I look at life, the way I look at music as well, and just generally also being a part of campaigns that I've been, you know, that have taken me to the world. It has actually just opened up my mind so much that I wanted to actually show that evolution that happens in music, and also in, obviously, with the way we look on stage, and I want to share it with the world. But more than anything, it's traveling and then getting to a place where when you perform, you're performing to strangers, people who have never heard your music, but the way they receive it with such love and appreciation. And for me, that was a sign to show that, you know, music evolves. If they can now discover a beautiful sound, we need to continue bringing out a different sound.
Right.
And we can actually create a sound. That's why we are musicians, we are artists. We create. We don't have to stick to the genres. Those genres before, they were there like jazz and, you know, funk and this. They have been created by somebody. There was nothing before that. So I'm all about that.
I mean, I also believe that music evolves because the creator of the music evolves. Yeah. And you've grown a lot, and through some of the stories that you shared on stage, you said they changed you. And one of those experiences was losing your daughter.
You know what? Every time when that story comes up, it becomes such a great story for me, because right now, whenever we talk about losing somebody, we always, you know, think of it as a sad thing. Yeah. And it is sad, really. Right. But you know what? With the help of God, I woke up one morning and I said, you know, this little girl whom I had known only for about 3.5 months, whom I had seen fight every single day of her life in an incubator, I saw her wanting to live. Wow. And now here we are. We have life. I'm healthy. What do I do with my life? What do I want out of life? When I saw that little girl fighting and making it 4 months, I mean, for me, that was something to celebrate. And I remember immediately after she gave life, I just prayed and I said to God, thank you. Yeah. Instead of breaking down and crying, I said, thank you, Lord, because it was actually a moment when I realized that, you know, she was brought in my life to just wake something up in me. To really wake something up in all of us, but it was up to us to grab it, you know. And I always believe that I am a living testimony, not for me, for someone else. My experiences are deep and for a reason, you know. If people are gonna take my experiences and look at them as something else other than an inspiration or something that can actually help them, then I don't know what they're looking for out of life. But I believe that I am here for a reason and for a purpose, and if I'm the one that has to be used for it, then so be it.
That is so amazing.
Yeah, no, she changed my life. She really did, for the good, because shortly after that, I took a trip by myself, and on that trip, I came back.
Overseas?
Overseas, I went over there.
That is brave. It takes courage. And it takes you wanting to find something that you've never seen before.
Oh, Bonnie, I tell you, I felt like that I had not lived. And that is why, I mean, I was speaking at a UN event yesterday, and I said that teenagers, actually young girls, they need to live every stage of their lives because it is important. I don't know what it's like to be a teenager because at a very early age, I had children. So I don't know what it's like to be 16 and be curious about, you know, 16-year-old things. And then before, I was too matured at a very, very early age. It forced me to be matured, to have babies. So that trip for me, it was like, okay, I'm discovering Judith now. And I did exactly that. And I came back. I wasn't angry at the world. I wasn't angry at anybody. And I did not have that sadness of saying my child is gone. I was just grateful that I have life. And she woken up something about that. That's why we wrote a song called Palisa.
Yes,
you know, Palisa
that was such a beautiful song. It is a beautiful song.
You know, it's a happy song. And I'm saying to any girl out there who is a Palisa, you are beautiful, because she was so pretty, you know. And I'm saying, you know, celebrate who you are as a young girl. Be pretty. Man. You are beautiful. You don't have to do nothing. You are just beautiful because you're created that way. So, yeah.
Yeah, that was a very moving moment on stage.
Thank you.
Now, your album is entitled One Word,
yes.
which when you try to figure it out, it sounds so profound. But then there's actually quite a simple, playful little story behind it.
Yeah.
Please share.
I was just bored. I didn't even know it. I'm telling you, it is so hilarious. I was speaking to one of my musicians, and I said to him, listen, you know what, this song, I need a title. And I was under pressure because of the sleeve, you know, it having to go in stores. And someone said, you know what, choose one of the titles on the album. I said, none of them make sense.
Right.
And I said, but you know what's funny? Every title...
Out of context, that is.
Yeah, they were out of context. So
yeah.
I said, but all the titles are one word. And they said, why don't you just name it one word? I said, that's it. Yes.
Because all the song titles are one word.
And when I sent it through to the distributors, they said, oh, perfect. It's a different word. It's unique, and it works, and it's working right now.
I am certain that your tour is going to be received very well. Where are you going to next?
We're going to Polokwane on the 20th, and on the 27th, we'll be in Durban. No, in Bloemfontein. Mm-hmm. And then we'll be traveling to Maputo as well, and Durban. So it's shows that are there that are coming up as we go. But today we got a third date in Maputo, which is great.
Oh, wow.
Which is brilliant, yes.
Yeah.
So we love, and we're doing Zimbabwe as well on the 5th of September. So it's going to be a very long tour.
That's incredible. So you don't have to sit out the long winter.
No, I don't have to. And
you get to go to hot places.
Yeah, and I believe that musicians, you know what, we have to actually launch our music, because how else are people going to know about the music? This is what we have. It's our bread and butter. This is our life. Mm-hmm. So we have to launch. You have to let people know that there is a new album. You have to perform the music and do it really well. Do it really well.
Thank you so much for sharing so deeply with us. But you're not going away, because we're going to chat to you shortly.
Oh, beautiful.
When we return, we continue our discussion with Judith and Tbo Touch. We'll be right back after this. Don't go away. Welcome back to Afternoon Express here on 3. We're on the couch with Judith and Tbo Touch, and we're going to discuss a topic that affects all South African music fans. I think you're the perfect two to speak to about this.
Absolutely. One, because the one has performed at all these concerts, and Touch, because you've, you know...
always go to all the concerts.
And put them together sometimes. Let's talk about organising a music festival, be it a concert or, you know, whatever it is. What goes into bringing an international act to South Africa, putting them on stage, and also getting, you know, supporting acts as well?
I think the beauty about bringing artists who have won Grammys, you can succumb to their level. You make demands when you're on demand. The set misconception about our local artist, who has never sold 20,000 copies, wants to have the same type of technical writer with somebody who has struggled to get to that level. So it's interesting when you see people being so short-sighted. They write themselves off before they become valuable in the business. So with me, I'm a promoter, Bonang. At the end of the day, you can say, Touch does not support local music. I didn't sign up for Red Cross organization. I'm a businessman. You know,
you know what, Touch?
You're right.
You know what, Touch? I do agree with you, but let me speak from the side of an artist.
Go ahead.
Even in acting, I work with international acts who are absolutely amazing.
Sure.
But the times when I feel like I'm being hard done by is when I feel like I've put in as much work.
Sure.
But maybe it doesn't result in the same dividends, but I've put in the same quantity of work.
Hundreds.
Is that perhaps a reality?
It's relative.
It is.
Judith is a legend. I mean, I listened to Judith
she's ballin'.
from her first album. If she requires the same type of treatment as anybody you bring, you can understand.
You can understand,
Because in that league, she's Judith Sephuma. I'm talking about people who are on their second album. and they start comparing themselves with somebody on the
Or
fifth
even their
album.
thirst and they've got all the attitude in the world as if they're Madonna. Yeah.
You know what's amazing, Jenny? When you travel as an artist and you get to another country and you realize, like, oh my word, life is bigger than Johannesburg to Cape Town. Yes.
And you know what's so funny, and I think the girls will agree, through interviewing international artists throughout our careers, the guys that really are at the top are not the divas.
No.
They're the best
yes.
people to work with. And the
Yes.
young guys who are trying to make a name for themselves
True.
think by being difficult to work with that it makes them cool.
But that is-
it's not the case.
Yeah, that is why it's important for artists to travel.
Yes.
You know, that'll really open you up because you will see how people really go, even if it means travel, go to Montreux Jazz Festival. You don't have to perform, but go see how things are done. Attend workshops, you know, people don't do that. South African artists, we don't do that. And our contracts, recording labels and internationally, you know, we don't have the same rights as them,
Yeah,
you know.
but Judith, you know, as a musician in touch, as a promoter, for a South African music fan, it's that, you know, there's an event going on, they come to you and they're like, but the tickets are so expensive. What do you say to somebody like that? When Judith is on stage, they want to see her there. Touch has to put the production together, the marketing, you know, support Judith on stage. And here I am when I wanted to see Judith, but I don't have 450 rand.
Yeah.
They'll give you a ticket, darling.
Yeah, of course.
And I mean, what goes into pricing a
A
ticket?
ticket, yes.
One, I will make reference of an event I put together 3 years ago, and I lost 3 million rands. And it was supposed to be a 3-concert show. And still, Joburg was successful, other cities were not. Simply because an artist travels with engineers, a band. Before we talk about backup artists. So there's already a staff that's involved technically. Then what happens, you read the newspaper and artists will complain and say, my sound was bad comparing to Jay-Z. Jay-Z has 6 engineers. They have cords they plug in. They bring in, when they get on stage, you must see at a show. There's 30 minutes before an international act gets on stage. It's not because he's busy trying to moonwalk. No. They are plugging in the right HDMI cables that they paid for. They pay their engineers, they pay their technicians, they pay their station, the stage manager. So when the sound is different, it's because they invest in their craft. They didn't make a hit and buy a next fancy car.
But then what do you say to Judith, who's South African, who is amazing and a legend in her own right, but can't afford those 6 engineers and 7, you know, stage managers, and because she also deserves the same quality of production in terms of production value.
If I may say, we have, for example, you can find a big artist who came before me. Give, for example, Smongile Kumalo or Kefa Simenyo Letambul. You find that we are doing a concert, and I have heard this, where when we were performing with people like Manu Dibango, and they would say, switch to South African sound. And when they switch to, they said switch to South African sound. When you switch to South African sound, the sound is completely different to what an international sound was.
How?
It's
The
inferior?
quality,
Is it
the
inferior
talent of
quality?
our engineers different.
It's engineers and it's the desk. And it's a whole lot of things that go in it. But I still say promoters, they need to actually give South African artists at least a little bit of, you know, a little bit of attention.
Got you.
You know, we suffer a lot because they come with that mentality of saying international, this and that, forgetting that here at home, we don't get this, we don't have the same rights as international artists.
Okay, but do you think that South Africans sometimes have tall poppy syndrome, where you'll hear an amazing song on the radio, and then the DJ will announce, oh, and it's a South African artist, and immediately people will be like, oh, it's local.
Oh, no.
Instead of saying, it's local.
You know
and
what's
celebrate
interesting?
it.
With Universal Sony, go visit and check their books this year and last year. For the first time, local is selling more than international.
Yeah, we are.
Yes,
And-
yes.
Selling a lot. We are selling a lot,
But let's stick to business. Not because there's some movement that's pushing local music. It's because local music is finally getting the right sound. Is commercially viable. And it's you have to win me as a consumer to spend into your craft.
Okay, so I want to see how good you both are.
Go ahead.
So we have got a couple of songs lined up, and we're going to play you a little clip from the song, and you guys have to be the quickest at telling us who they are. However, they are going to be played backwards.
Yeah, so
Like-
Judith,
like-
being the legend, and the radio legend here. Let's see how good you are at identifying.
I'll quit my radio show.
Okay, let's roll with our first track.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. Corner.
Corner.
Yes.
All right.
Okay, track 2. Let's hear it. I even did the music video dance for you. Come on, you've got to get it.
Nothing. They don't have it.
Wait.
Let's stop the music. Let's tell them what it is.
Did you listen to this before, guys? Did you?
No.
No, don't. No, yes, I was about to sing it. Burning through the fire.
Okay.
I don't think he's Katy Perry's market.
You know what?
I love her. That's my girl.
Right, we have one more, right?
Give me a Taylor Swift.
You ready?
Oh, love Taylor.
Is that the national anthem?
No!
You're not going to shoot yourself.
You are totally going to...
We can't play it again. I almost got
Okay.
it.
You want to play it again?
Please.
Almost got it?
Isn't that Judith?
It's Judith!
That's Judith. That's you. Damn, I'm good.
It is you!
That is
No, you
Judith.
are good, you are good.
I'm like,
That's
You
not
can
me, guys.
recognize your
I
own
was going to
voice.
say the heels are alive with the sound of music.
There you are.
Judith live in concert.
That's me, guys.
Yes.
That's you,
That is
baby.
you, Judith.
You,
You listen to this. You listen to it. Oh
Yes.
my God.
So not so good? Judith can't even
I
recognize
got 2 out of
your
3.
own
Good
music.
music.
I
But
got
anyway.
2 out of 3, Judith.
All right.
I still keep my job.
No, you know, I just
I
don't
think
keep
that
your
went
job. I
very
quit.
well.
Yeah.
I quit.
Well done. Thank you, Judith, and thank you, Tbo. Don't go anywhere because after the break, we're going to show you some beautiful flower arrangements and discuss the latest trends. You're watching Afternoon Express right here on SBC3. Don't move.
Are you a female business owner? I'm sure then that you understand the need to stay current with the trends, which means constantly purchasing new stock and equipment. And this can lead to complications when it comes to business insurance. In order to make sure your business is looked after, First for Women offers business insurance that caters for the specific needs of business women. Included in this policy is assistance and support in technology, business management, operations, finance, marketing, and sales in human resource. Customers can access telephonic support 24/7 from professional advisors, mentors, and specialists who are key experts in all the key business areas. We're joined now by floral artists SHORTT and CHANTELL Lethbridge from Green Goddess, who are going to show us some of the latest flower trends. Welcome to the show.
Welcome, hello, thank you.
Okay, it's looking all very pretty here. But my first question is, what are some of the challenges when a woman is running a business like yours?
Well, we mainly an events and wedding flower business, so we don't get a lot of repeat business, but it is great for us to get word of mouth referrals. We also find that brides will often start planning their wedding before they're even engaged, which means that they're looking at trends that, you know, are maybe 2 years old by the time they actually get married. And so from an advertising point of view, we find that styled shoots and blogs are a great way to showcase forward-looking trends and to show brides new ideas rather than them always looking back at the older trends. The blogs also give us a chance to showcase more work, whereas print advertising is expensive and it also only allows us to show a few photographs.
Oh. One of the things we're going to do today is that you're going to demonstrate how to make a serviette ring.
That's correct.
Okay,
Yes,
awesome.
this is something that you can do at home
Okay.
for a little party, a dinner party or something like that. So what we've done is we've just picked some ivy out of
Some
our
ivy.
garden, which we've just given a little bit of a spray just to make it a little bit of
spray
some
paint.
spray paint, yes. Little metallics are one of the trends which are in at the moment, so we've just given a little bit of metallic spray just to give it a bit of a lift for a dinner party.
Okay.
It's a very simple, easy thing to do. You're going to start with a little bit of a cardboard, just going to give it a
Chantal, what are
staple
some
there.
of the trends?
Metallics is one of them.
Yes.
And this is copper, but not just that. Touches of gold and silver. There's a trend towards groups of containers together on a table. The days of just one central arrangement on a table are long time gone.
So a cluster.
A cluster, often combining flowers with decor and candles as well.
Okay.
And there's a trend towards swags, which is a low, long arrangement down a rectangular table, and that's really become a very popular
And they're called
trend.
swags?
It's called a swag.
Oh, wow.
Yes.
Swag is used to
Swag or
describe
garland.
a lot of things.
Yes, it is.
Okay, so what's this next steps? We've stapled this.
So we've
this
stapled the little ring
ends.
together.
Okay.
Now we've taken our little ivy leaves that we've sprayed, and we can just use some adhesive. This is a special floral adhesive, but you could use just a regular
floral
craft.
adhesive.
You could just use a regular craft glue for something like ivy. Ivy is a particularly lovely foliage to use because it's very good out of water. It can be
Right.
out of water for many days at a time. So it's obviously, if you're going to do something like this for a dinner party, if you're quite busy, think about something that you can do a little bit ahead of time that you're not having to do at the last minute.
And how long would that keep after I've sprayed it?
This will keep for probably a good week or so.
A good week?
Yeah,
Oh.
absolutely. So as I say, if you're a busy hostess and you're really busy, you could do this a little bit ahead of time.
And it probably looks a bit more rustic when it's all dried, and it's quite interesting. Hey?
It does. Ivy holds its shape very well. Even when it's dry, it tends not to dehydrate too much.
Right.
It's obviously quite important when you're choosing some of your blooms to think about things that can hold themselves out of water. So
Okay.
we've just got some little orchid flowers over here. Orchids last beautifully out of water, and they're quite elegant for your dinner
They are
party.
very
So
elegant.
just brings a touch of opulence to your
Any other
evening.
flower option I could explore if I don't have an orchid?
We also recommend, like, go and look in your garden. There's often lovely things in your garden. People think that you have to spend a lot of money on flowers. Often you don't. You can just wander out into your garden. A lot of people do grow bulbs, which are coming into season right now. So we've got a few in our little arrangements there. Some nice flat flowers is usually the way to go because you want it to be able to sit nicely and flat on your ring once you kind of glued your foliage in together. Yeah.
Right.
And there's quite a trend towards botanical textured flowers and foliage, berries and different greeneries. The greys have come in with the softer muted colours. So you can do a lot at home with what you can find, mosses, different shaped leaves.
And now, so what's the next step?
Okay, so the next step, once you've got your foliage all on your little ring and you've put it all together, then as I say, you might just want to think a couple of little textured things, like these are just some pepper berries that we picked on a tree, a little orchid flower, and then you're just going to glue that on top, and there you go. You've got something beautiful to pop onto your table for your dinner party.
Awesome, and that's it?
That's it.
And then I would just take my serviette and run it through?
That's correct. And you're just going to slide
Is that
through
right?
there, yeah.
I don't know where I learned to do that, but I definitely learned it somewhere.
There you go.
Awesome, thank you, that looks amazing. Now you can try these beautiful designs for your next dinner party, kitchen tea, or family gathering. And remember, if you own your own shop or company, make sure that you protect your assets by making use of First for Women's business insurance policies. Check out various other benefits that you're afforded when insuring through First for Women. Wanang, how are things in the kitchen, darling?
Things are looking so, so good. We are back in the kitchen, about to put the final steps to our kitchen meal. So what are we doing here? Double cream.
We are gonna finish off this this chicken with some cream. Now it's winter and it's probably quite a good idea to add some cream.
Divine.
Couple of minutes, put the lid on.
Just plunk it all in there, right?
Yes.
It doesn't really matter. The creamier, the better.
Exactly. Not much actually. We just want to coat it.
Oh, all right.
Okay.
Coat the chicken. And then how long do you leave the cream in there for?
Couple of minutes. Basically, we add some cheese inside the chicken, and this is gonna melt off, and it's gonna mix with the cream, and that will give a beautiful flavor to the cream at the end. It's just gonna basically be a sauce that you can baste on top of the chicken once you serve it.
Smells absolutely delicious. If you did miss any of the steps, you can go to our website, www.afternoonexpress.co.za. That looks incredible. And then what happens after this? It's ready to serve?
I'm gonna serve it straight away on
Fantastic.
a
Well,
plate.
while you do that, let me move over to CHRISTIAN, who has a delicious antipasti. What would you call this? Sort of like a display, correct?
We actually call antipasti. It's probably one of the most common way we eat this charcuterie product in Italy, and it's basically as it comes.
Fantastic.
So we have some Parma ham, prosciutto, and then we have two types of salame. One is salame Milano, called because it comes actually from the region of Milano.
Yes.
And then salame Napoli. The difference are basically the selection of the spices, the way of mincing the meat, the time of curing, and the region of the origin, basically.
Yes, but Christian, your company has been around for over 200 years, right?
Yes, exactly. It
Amazing.
was actually founded on 1812, so a few years ago it was our 200th anniversary, which was very amazing. Thinking it's probably one of the oldest food company in Italy, and and now it's run by the 8th generation. It's still family-owned company.
Yes.
And I would say this family has been doing a great job. Keep looking for the best quality, selection of the best raw material.
But, you know, with antipasti, for somebody that has never been to Italy or ever heard of antipasti, when do you serve it and how do you go about, you know, eating it?
Antipasti, it means before the meal. So
antipasti. Is it before the pasta or before meal?
Before the meal, or maybe before the pasta too. And it's a way of tasting the product as it comes.
Fantastic.
Just like that, as you can see on this wooden board.
All right.
And we normally eat it with some vegetables, or some cheese, and it's a very fresh dish.
Yeah, I can see.
Yeah.
It smells absolutely delicious. I can't wait to, you know, tuck in. Of course, if you want the ideas, if you want to ask us anything, we are on Twitter, we are on Facebook, and of course, we are on our website. After the break, we're going to be serving all this delicious food, so stick around. Also coming up after the break, Judith Sephuma will be performing live in the loft, so you do not want to go anywhere. Afternoon Express, you're still watching SABC 3.
South Africa, are you with us?
It's great to welcome you back to Afternoon Express here on SABC 3. And now that table is laden with amazing treats.
I actually have to present to you this incredibly gorgeous, juicy camembert
That's my
with
dinner.
cheese and parma ham. I mean, this is so richly Italian.
That is so rich, Manang. I'll
We're
just
gonna
have
fight
you
for
know,
it.
you can't have all of it, otherwise your hips will expand
do
in
not
one
care.
night.
It's not true. It's not true. It's such good quality. It's good for you.
No, it looks extraordinary. I can't wait to taste it. But now, to perform Uthando from her latest album, One Word, let's welcome Miss Judith Sephuma.
Thank you.
Inhliziyo yami
for
I
dinner.
have
That
to tell
was
you,
fantastic.
this has never happened. In all of the performances, everybody else is tucked in.
Except
for me.
Jeannie.
Because I was just so taken by your voice.
Yes, Tisha.
Amazing, Judith. Thank you so very much for coming onto Afternoon Express. That performance was amazing. Tbo Touch, thank you very much. He says he cooked the food. We know that's not true. Have a seat. Have a seat. Thank you so very much. This is amazing. Well, Jeannie, you did a very good job. The camembert looks
I've
fantastic.
decided the secret to me being brilliant in the kitchen is 2 hot Italian men.
That's it.
That's all I need.
Well, to everybody that's watching, thank you so much. We'll be back on your screens 4 p.m. on SABC3 next week, Monday. Have a wonderful weekend from all of us. It's good evening and happy eating.
Ciao.
Another feel-good production.
Join us next time for more fabulous fun inspired by First for Women on Afternoon Express. For an insurance quote, call 0861 11 18 44 or SMS FIRST to 49267.